Hello everybody, I want to welcome you to this video demonstration of how to use your new Weebly website. I want to thank you for being a client of Loggerhead Designs and Rhonda Davis and show you how to use your new website. Great thing about Weebly is it's a nice user-friendly interface that allows designers like myself to be able to make really customized great sites, but make the usability of it extremely simple for you guys. The great thing is if you can make updates to Facebook or even to put applications and things to your emails, you can very simply edit and make updates to this website. You should have received an email from us that has a temporary password in order to get into your website, and it'll have a link within the email that'll pop up. When you follow that link, it should take you to your domain name with /login. You punch in your email address, and then you just simply copy and paste that temporary password into the password field. Now I've already created this account, so what it'll do for you when you go to log in, it'll actually pop up a box that'll say, please place your new password in here, and you can choose whatever you would like the new password to be, and just make sure you keep it for your documentation to the side just in case you forget. Once you log in, it'll probably come up to the account screen, which will look similar to this. This is where you can again change your password, change the email, your full name, just basic options. The other good thing is you'll notice that up here in the upper right hand corner, if you have any questions or if you get stuck or have any problems, feel free to give us a call, or you can shoot us an email at support@loggerheaddesigns.net, and we'll be glad to get with you as soon as possible and take care of whatever needs that you have. So we'll go ahead and get started. If we click on My Site, you'll notice that there's some analytics that pop up down here. Now, they're not quite as in-depth as Google Analytics are themselves, but this does give you kind of a short summary from Weebly of how many unique page visits that you had and how many page views. It also shows you, based on the page views, what's the most popular. Also, referring sites, it shows you from uh, what other sites that somebody came from in order to view your website. Okay, so up here in the list, you'll notice that there's an Edit Site button. When we click on Edit Site, it's going to actually open up the Wirt County Health Services new website, and it'll show you some options on the left-hand side to be able to add to your new site, all the different elements, whether it's text or image fields. And we'll go over that here shortly. You'll kind of recognize this screen as being your home page, which is similar to if I flip over to the actual web page, you notice it's the exact same thing. Excuse me. As you highlight over different areas of your web page, you'll notice that these little blue boxes appear all the way around, and it kind of creates a square around that element. What this is actually a photograph image element from the options over on the left hand side, which we're going to go over in just a second. What this allows you to do is actually place these images anywhere on the page that you want. Everything is simply click and drag. So I'm going to go a little bit lower in the page to kind of show you the demonstration. Over on the left hand side, you'll notice that you have title, text, image, gallery, slideshow, maps, contact forms, and there's several other options that we'll kind of briefly go over, but many of these options really don't apply to this particular website, but it's still good to know what exactly that they do. So again, you'll notice that as I highlight over all these areas, this little blue box appears. And if I wanted to delete this element, all I'd have to do is click on the little red X, hit delete. It would ask me, am I sure? And I'd say yes, and it'll delete that element. But to kind of show you how these elements work, let's say that next to this text element, if I wanted to add a photograph over here on the left-hand side, I could actually click on the image, and you're going to left click on that, and you'll drag it. And while you're holding down the mouse, you'll notice that all these little blue lines appear no matter where you drag that at. What that's actually doing is that's showing you exactly where that element is going to plop down once you release your mouse key. So let's say that I wanted to put it next to this font. I would drag it over so that I make sure this blue line is next to it, and I release it. It'll automatically format this to bump over, so I don't have to do any of the formatting, any of the coding in order for it to work. If I wanted this image not to be quite so large, I wanted the font to go over a little bit more, if you hold down the Shift key while highlighting over this blue bar that appears, you hold down Shift key, hold down your mouse key, and then you'll notice that you can slide it from left to right, and that'll actually reformat all of the font around it. Now, some of the elements that pop up within all of these different boxes that you bring over, uh, similar to like the image. When you click on image, it pops up the option to upload a photo from your computer, just like it does with Facebook or if you're adding an attachment with an email. So when you click on there, it's going to pop up some photos from one of my other clients. It's a surfing client. So we'll go ahead and we'll grab a image of a good friend of mine, Lee, and she's sitting there surfing in a wetsuit. Once the image pops up, if it's a large image, it'll just take a few moments for it to pop up. If it's a smaller one, obviously it'll go a lot quicker. But now you'll notice that the blue lines that appear over here, if I wanted to move this element anywhere within the page, I just hold down my mouse key and click and drag it, and it'll move it to wherever, again, that blue bar appears. But I'm going to leave it right where it is for now, just to show you another demonstration. When I click on the photograph, a couple different options pop up. You can either edit the image. If I needed to resize it, you can see that if I pull my mouse down to the bottom right hand corner, it turns into some resizing arrows. If I hold down the mouse key, I can click and drag and make that image change sizes. You can also change the formatting of it, left, center, right, however you want it to be formatted. What Lightbox is actually, if I would turn that on, if you've ever been in Facebook, you'll notice that when you click on a photograph image, the image gets larger. That's exactly what Lightbox does. When somebody is actually within the website, if I wanted to click on, say, one of these icons that's actually an image, if Lightbox had been turned on, when I would select this option, it would actually pop up a larger image of this icon. And that's exactly what it would do with Lee's picture once the website would be published. Now, you can actually create this as a link as well, which is what we did for all of these icons. These are just photographic PNGs that have transparent backgrounds so that the blue appears all the way around it. If we wanted this to be a link, we could click on link, and say if we wanted it to go to google.com, you would type in www.google.com, and then you would select this open link in a new window. You always want to make sure to do that. That way it helps with your bounce rates and your search engine optimization, because that way it doesn't appear that somebody's leaving the page if they click on a link. It'll just open the link in a separate window and leave your website open. But let's say that we wanted this photograph to work just like these links and take us to somewhere within our own website. When we click on standard page, you'll notice that there's a little drop down that appears. When you click on the drop down, here are all the pages that are associated with this website. The little line that shoots over indicates that it is a subdomain of the one above it, which is really not important right now, but just to kind of give a clarification on it. So any of the pages within this site, let's say if I wanted Lee's surfing picture to point to providers and locations, I'd simply click there, hit save, and now once I publish this website, when I click on her image, it's going to take me to somewhere within the site itself. You can also work on your spacing, which you can kind of play around with that. That is as simple as just changing the spacing sizes, whether it's medium, large, or none. And that's just for your margins. If I wanted to add a caption, I can simply say, okay, this is Lee surfing, if I could type, at Surf City. When I click off of it, you'll notice that the caption pops up right underneath it. Now there's another couple cool options with captions that we'll go over shortly, but that's the basic caption, is just to have the writing immediately under the picture. So let's say that I decided, I really don't need this photograph here. You just click on the red X, hit delete, and it'll automatically delete that and reformat it. This is actually a text field, which is just simply one of these. This says text, drag it over, plop it wherever you want it to go. When you click inside of the text box, you'll notice that all these options pop up just like a Word document. You have bold, italic, underline. If you highlight some of the font, you can hit plus or minus to increase or decrease the font size. And you can also change the color of the font, whether you make your own custom color by moving the sliders. You can punch in the actual coding for it if you know it, or you can just use one of the presets. You can also create this as links. So if you wanted, let's say, Jackson County to appear as a link, you could open it up the same way that we described whenever we talked about all the images. You can also create a bulleted list. You can do a numbered list. Over here you can format the font however you want it. Right now we currently have it center justified, I believe. Full align is what they call it, but it's the same thing. You can remove all the formatting if you screwed it up and decided I need to start over, or you can hit the undo and redo button. When you're done editing, you just click in the white space to the side and it'll deselect it. Same thing for all of these elements. These are just text fields. All I did was we highlighted this area, created it as a link just by hitting the link button, and that takes you within the page to the career opportunities. This element here is actually a graphic element, the same thing as the icons. So if we ever need to change any of these, just shoot us an email to either patrick@loggerheaddesigns.com or support@loggerheaddesigns.net, and let us know what you would like to change. Same thing for up here when we scroll up to the main banner that's it's set up as a slideshow right now. I would suggest that if there's any of these images that you want to swap out, that you contact us. That way we can make sure the formatting is correct and that it meets the same as all the other slides. That way you don't have the problem with the slide being really large and then it shrinks and then it gets larger. It just looks a little unprofessional for it to bounce around like that. But if we wanted to change or do any of the options to this slideshow, we can simply click on Edit Slideshow, and you'll notice that up here you can add slide, and you can add as many slides all the way across here as you want. You can have 100 of them if you really wanted to. Each individual slide you can also do a caption if you wanted to, or you can create it as a link so that if like when the one that pops up that talks about the nursing home, if we would create a page that shows images and blueprints of the new nursing home, we could actually create this as a link that would take you within the page. So if you want to change your options as well, you just click on options. Right now we have it set to fade with the transitions, but you can do a slice or a mosaic. You can change the timing of it. You can do pretty much all the same things that you did if you're familiar with Publisher. All right, so once we go within any of these pages about us, all of them are very similar, that these are just simply text boxes that have been pulled over. In order to put an image within the text box, the same way that the picture of the older facility here, you would just click on image, drag it over, and instead of putting it to the side or underneath this text box, if you hold it immediately over, it'll actually pop up a little blue highlighted box that indicates allowing you to be able to dump a photograph immediately in that box. Okay, again, this is just a bulleted list. These are just individual photos, and it automatically formatted it to put them side by side. And when you click on it, if I wanted the light box to be turned on, we'll turn that on. Same thing with this light box on this one, we'll turn it on. And I'll show you how that works once we actually publish the website. Okay, so another thing within this page is we actually have our locations. Locations and providers, both of these pages are set up pretty similar with the actual element boxes that appear from the left-hand side. This area, the same as over here under locations, these are actually just gallery elements. So if I click on gallery, pull it over, dump it in there, it would appear just like this. I would click on it and I could add all of my images. So as you add more locations, or if you want to change locations, you simply click on add images. You would add all of the new images the same way we did before if you wanted to add a bunch of different images to this option. And you notice that each of these different locations, the Wirt County School-Based Health Center, Parkersburg, all of them have this grayed out box over top of it with the caption. When you actually click in the gallery section, you notice some other options pop up. You have columns so that you can add more columns than just the 3. But captions is what is dictating how the look of the wording over the picture is showing. Right now, Lightbox and thumbnails is the option that it's choosing to display it. If I wanted it to be, Lightbox only, that would mean that whenever I click on a photograph, when the Lightbox, again, the image that gets really large and just pops up, that's where the caption would appear. In this circumstance, we want the thumbnails to actually say where the locations are. And we have it set up as a full overlay. You can actually do a partial overlay, which allows the picture to show up and just have the font on the bottom. A full overlay is obviously going to fully overlay the entire image. If you want it to just display on a hover, so as your mouse hovers over it is when the wording displays, you just simply hit that check mark. Each of these individual images have options as well. So under Wirt County School-Based Health Center, you notice that there's a link and there's a caption. Caption is what you'll click on to edit the actual information that pops up. Link is again a standard page that we've chosen within the website. Okay, when you're finished with all your options, you just simply click in the white area to the right. As you can tell, that Weebly is very user-friendly. It's kind of nice how simply you can make all the updates and changes. The user interface, after you do some programming in the back office of it, on the designer standpoint, the user interface it makes it really nice, especially for those who aren't familiar with doing a lot of website coding and things like that. There's a couple other things that we'll go over, and then we'll move on to the next section. But under each of these individual locations, if you wanted to change these location information, what you're going to need to do, because they don't appear in a drop down for the regular public to see, we need to go up here to where it says Pages. You have 2 tabs, Build, which is your building tab, which is what we're on currently, and then Pages. When I click on Pages, you'll notice all of the pages associated with this website appear on the left-hand side. We want to make sure not to edit anything on the right. If you do mess something up, simply just get a hold of us and we'll take care of it for you. But you'll notice over here on the left, when you go under the different locations area, you'll see the town of Elizabeth and then each of the individual locations, like the Wirt County location. I believe this is the school one. Yeah, the Wirt County School-Based Health Center. If we wanted to edit this one, what we're going to have to do is click on it and hit Save and Edit. The reason why is because you'll notice we have this check mark selected that says Hide Page and Navigation. The reason for that is we don't want a bunch of sub pages to drop down underneath the drop down on the main page, because it would really confuse people and it would make it harder for people to be able to use the actual icons that we've built within the page to take them to these areas. So let's say that we wanted to edit all of the hours of operation under the Wirt County School-Based Healthcare System. Again, you would go up here to Pages, click Pages, scroll down under Locations to Locations-Wirt County School-Based Health Center, and then you would click Save and Edit. Weebly went ahead and opened up that page for us, And you'll notice if I wanted to replace this photograph, I could simply just hit delete, click and drag a new image element, dump it right above it where it was, and then just add a new photograph the same way that we showed before. If you need to edit any of the hours of operation, just click inside of them and you can edit, all your edit options pop up, and you can edit it the same way again that we showed earlier. The element here is actually a map element. So over here on the icons, you'll see that it says map. When you click and drag it over, you can actually click on it. Address, you would just replace the address for the new address of the new location. You can adjust the zoom, you can adjust the positioning, the actual spacing, the size of the map. All of that is things that you can play around with that really aren't important right now, but it's things that you can kind of mess around with once you get started. Again, even the like us on Facebook, this is just simply an icon that we created graphically. Put it in here and it just has a link to open up the actual location of the Wirt County Wellness Center on Facebook. Okay, so the only other options that we need to go over real quickly is like under job opportunities. If you guys end up adding any more employment applications, or if you create a section where you want new customers to be able to fill out medical forms, anything like that, you can actually have a downloadable form just like this application for employment. Over on the left hand side under some of the options, if you scroll down, you'll notice that you have YouTube, file, flash files, documents, audio files, things like that. This is actually just a document. So if I click on document, drag it over where I want it to be, let's say I was going to put it right next to your current application for employment. It appears and it looks exactly like this one, except when I click on it, I can upload a new file to it. Once I upload it, it'll change the name of that document to whatever the document name is. And I mean, that's actually pretty much it. There's not a whole lot more to it. All of it is just forms. There's only one more thing, I guess, that we need to cover, and that's the actual contact form on your contact page. A contact form is, again, just an element from over here on the left-hand side, but when you click on it, you'll notice the left-hand side changed. There's button options, there's check marks, you can allow people to upload files. This basically just gives you a lot more options that you can do within the contact form itself. So let's say that I wanted to make it a requirement for people to give me their address. There's already a address contact box over here, which I can click and drag, dump it right in my contact form. And there you go. Address, line 1, line 2, city, state, zip code, all the information that you would need. And you can actually, you'll notice that there's like a little asterisk next to it. What that means is that it's a required field. If you wanted to make it so that that's not required, all you have to do is simply click on it and unselect required. That way it disappears. It's not a required situation. If you wanted to add any instructions, and what this is, if I typed in, please provide the best, most accurate address possible. If I would put that in the options here, when somebody goes to the contact form and they scroll over it, a yellow box would pop up that says whatever the instructions that I just listed. So I'm going to select out off of this. You just hit in the gray area. We're going to delete the address because I don't think that's a requirement that you guys really have to have. View entries is, again, just kind of a quick link to be able to look at some of the entries that have been made, even if they have already been sent to your email address. Form options, this will actually pop up and you can rename it, website contact form. You can put whatever email address that you want these submissions to be sent to. And then the same thing with confirmation. If you want to type in a message, currently it says thank you, your information has been submitted. But if you want to be a little bit more personable or provide a telephone number or anything like that, you could punch that in. And what it does is once somebody sends a contact form in, it pops up and gives them a confirmation code. So we're going to go ahead and hit save. And I have a fire truck passing by, so you may hear that in the video. Okay, so make a long story short, that is how simple it is to make corrections and updates to this website. If you guys have any problems or any questions, feel free to give us a call or shoot us an email, and I'll show you that information again here in a second. That way that we could help you out. Same thing with even any of the images that appear on the main screen or any of the graphic elements. Just shoot us an email and we'll make that update for you right away. Let's see. Okay, one important thing that I almost forgot to tell you, which is very important, is once you're finished making all of your changes, one good thing that happens with Weebly is as I'm making all these changes within a web page, it saves it automatically. So if your power goes out, you lose internet connection, all of your changes are still going to be saved on the website, but the general public will not see any of those changes until you hit this orange publish button. Once you select publish, it'll take it just a second to publish all that information to the server. Once it's done that, you can check your website just by hitting the hyperlink, and you can look at the work of whatever changes that you made within the site. Hopefully this was a good demonstration for you, kind of gave you the basics. A lot of it is going to be just trial and error. You need to go in, just test it out, play around with it. You can't break it, which is the good thing. And if you do break it, so to speak, just contact us and we'll fix it at no problem, no charge, nothing like that. So when you're finished, you just simply log out, hit the area to the right, hit exit editor, and that'll take you right back to your login screen that you were on before. And again, here's our contact information. You can give us a telephone call at 910-541-0143. Email us at support@loggerheaddesigns.net, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. I want to thank you guys again for being one of our clients. We really appreciate you and really enjoyed building this website. Hopefully this gives you a nice demonstration of how to use everything. And again, feel free to contact us if you have any other questions. Thanks. You guys have a great day.